Could that have gone any better?
No, it was pretty good. You know, it's funny, though. At halftime, we were shooting just 40%. But I thought we had a lot of great looks and just didn't make shots. And also thought we kind of overpassed a little bit in the first half. And I thought in the second half, guys took the shots that came to them. You know, Joel was terrific. Obviously, James and Max. You know, I thought Tobias was great. It's funny. He had a 6-point game, but he played just within the team. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
What were your initial impressions of both James overall and the way he worked with Joel in the pick and roll?
I thought they worked great together, played off of each other, kind of picked their spots. You know, we still, like me, I still have to just keep watching and learning different things we can do. There were, you know, we came out in the second half with that 1-2 pick and roll. And Tyrese got all the way to the basket. You know, that's something we haven't. You know, Tyrese on the strong side corner and James's ISOs. We worked on that this morning. If he fires it, it's a straight line drive. He got there. So there's some things that we prepared for that happen. And then there's some things that you can see James and Joel can do that you just let their talent do it.
You just mentioned Tobias. I know he only shot, I think he shot 2 for 9, but it seemed like a lot of his looks were wide open looks.
Great looks. He even said that walking in. He said, my gosh, I got a lot of great looks, open drives, you know. I thought Matisse, you know, like they're trying to help off of him. And, you know, one of the things we talked about is running the floor, getting layups, crashing the glass, you know. We gave him free reign. Like, listen, if they're not going to block you out, then in the half, him getting that tip dunk, I thought those were really confident things for him.
And then do you feel like maybe the guys got surprised by how many open looks they got? Just kind of seemed like they got the ball and they were like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Ferg, I thought a bunch of them. You know, George doesn't hesitate, so he's perfect for James. Like, when we're laughing, like, George, he's perfect because when it comes, he's shooting it. And that's what you need. You need guys like that. You know, I thought Tyrese, you know, first play in the second half, he could have turned the corner, and he kind of didn't, and we got on him, and James got on him. Next play, he turned the corner. So those are little things we have to still just – we got a lot of learning to do.
But before James even started playing for you guys, you mentioned just, you know, what he was like on the bench and just kind of how engaged he was. So now in an actual game, like, just maybe what did you observe from him?
Same thing. I just thought they all were talking. More one talker begets the next talker. You know, the more talking you have, the more your team grows. I thought James was great in timeouts, speaking up. Then Joel speaks up. Then everybody speaks up. So that kind of stuff we're going to need. We're going to go through times where it's not that easy and it's going to be hard. We're going to have to be able to talk to each other.
And then this obviously gave you an opportunity to try a bunch of different lineup combinations.
Yeah, but we went with the rotation we wanted to overall.
Okay.
You know, we had, for the most part, 2 on the floor. Tyrese picking up those, I think it was Tyrese picked up the fouls, kind of messed our rotation up a little bit, but that's going to happen as well, you know.
Doc, can you just talk about his and ones, his ability to get those and ones?
Yeah, I've lived through them. I've seen them firsthand. You know, I don't know, one of the coaches, might have been Jamie Young, said, geez, it's so much nicer to see it on the other side of the fence, you know. But I thought he picked and chose. We ran a lot of pick and roll and 2-man game stuff, and then when we got the right switch, we went to that. You know, we look at that the same way we look at a post up for Joel. You know, when Joel has the ball in the post, that's an ISO. When James has the right matchup in the right spot, that's an ISO. And so we like them both.
Mike, can you kind of, you mentioned the transition game, that was going to be a big thing. It felt like that was something that we saw right away.
I thought the biggest difference was that early on. You know, it's funny, guys aren't used to running and getting the ball. And the ball was, I mean, he threw a bunch of them today. Matisse got a couple. And the one thing we keep telling Tyrese is we can get you out in the open court. Like, if you just run, he'll get you the ball. Tobias got a couple. That will be the biggest thing, the biggest change in us is because of James' ability to see the floor.
I mean, just in general, too, like, did you feel like your other players, it felt a lot easier for them tonight just to...
Yeah, I mean, it has to. You have Joel Embiid and James Harden on the floor, and they're going to draw a lot of attention. And so all we talked about in these day and a half, 2 days is spacing and being ready when the ball comes. And I thought our guys overall did that.
Is it safe to say those pairings, the way they went in the first half, is what you want to try to do?
Well, right now, I mean, it could change, but we do like that. We like, that first stretch with all of them, with James hamstring, getting him out to get him back in. He'll play 3 stretches, basically him and Tobias.
Yeah.
That gives Tyrese a chance to then be the ball handler for a while as well. So far, so good.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Coach.
Guard who plays and thinks like a point guard. He finally has that. And also, by the way, a point guard who's a scoring threat. That space out the floor for him. So I think what you're seeing is a guy really enjoying his basketball right now because life instantaneously got a lot easier for him.
Hey, Kane, Mark here. Welcome back, guys. Can we talk about the pace that Maxey was able to play with? I think he went up. If he was a 5-speed, he was now a 7-speed. Can we talk about the pace that he played with, the speed of the game that he brought back? It was a good combination to go with James Harden and the way Joel Embiid plays.
Well, again, this is what he brings to the table, an added dimension, right? When you've got guys who can score in the half court, who got guys who can defend, you've got guys who can shoot. But to have the guy who plays that in-between game, that changes ends of the floor so quickly, that can defend and then turn a burst of defense into good offense, all that is what he brings to the table. That and the ability to finish around the basket, too. He's a huge plus.
Well, and Mark, I'm glad you pointed that out because that was one of the things I was wondering about. Because Joel and James are so comfortable slowing things down, as you mentioned, Tyrese is going to look, in my opinion, even faster because now the guys around him are lulling the other team to sleep. So good call there, Mark.
Yeah, guys, how about, in terms of just the level of play, I'm shocked, I'll be honest with you, at how well this team played at both ends of the court. I mean, you said it, Ala, early, that this is a pretty good Minnesota team. They were playing well, and they're playing at home. The Sixers, destroyed this team.
Yeah, and usually the games in this building in particular, Coach, if you remember your history, are hard-fought matches. These are tough games that the Timberwolves don't easily give into. So to see this kind of outcome, I'm like you. I'm pleasantly surprised, but surprised nonetheless.
And I, meanwhile, am pretty excited. I'm trying not to get too excited, but we'll be honest. Ala and I couldn't sleep last night. We had to take naps today because we were up all night because we were so excited about this. So Sixers fans, you can be excited. We'll try not to get too excited, but we can be excited together.
Listen, it's going to be a fun final now, 23. Wow,
yep.
This was a really fun one to watch. We got a couple more to go. We can get excited. We can start to temper it up a little bit.
Exactly.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We appreciate you crossing it over with us.
Thanks, team.
What a debut for James Harden. We all wondered how it would work. I know it is game 1, but it is seemingly working so well right now. So many different players elevating their games. It was funny, throughout this game, we watch all upstairs. We thought, well, maybe this is kind of a ho-hum game for Joel Embiid. 34 points. He had 34 points, and you barely thought about it because that's how dynamic James Harden is. No surprise that Joel Embiid is one of the best players, and you saw the MVP chance. But James Harden really elevated the game. We talked about Max. We talked about the different players that he made. We take a look at James Harden's numbers because he is our Colonial Nissan game.